welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I am Banjo Ben, your host here on the website to teach you how to play mandolin and guitar. This week is Banjo week. Last week we did Bury Me Beneath the Willow on guitar. This week is banjo. We're going to do 4 total solos, 2 in the key of C, 2 in the key of G. And we've got several objectives here besides just learning the solos. We're going to start with the basic melody in each one of those keys, and then I'm going to talk to you about how to play in C versus how to play in G. But then the second solo for each one of those keys, we're going to beef it up a little bit, bring in some Scruggs licks, a few little melodic, chromatic type things. This is a really fun lesson. It's a fun one to play. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to the website, BanjoBenClark.com. You can join as a Gold Peak member, see this 30-minute lesson as well as hundreds of other ones. Download the 4 speeds of MP3 rhythm tracks that I have, or 3 speeds for this one. And then also have the tabs just exactly like I played it. So I'd be honored to have you on board. Let's jump right into the first solo in the key of C for Bury Me Beneath the Willow. Let's learn some solos for Bury Me Beneath the Willow on the banjo. We're going to play it in 2 different keys. We're going to start out in the key of C. We're going to play a very basic melody solo, throwing a few licks and rolls here and there. Then we're going to play a more advanced solo out of the key of C. Then we're going to modulate to G and play a basic melody solo and then a more advanced solo as well. Now, let's go ahead and throw up the tab there. We're going to start in the key of C. You'll notice that beneath each one of those notes, we have our pick and fingering. So a T with a circle around it is our thumb. 1 is index, and 2 is your middle. We're in the standard, open G tuning, but we're going to start out in the key of C, so we need to think about that because it's a bit of a different approach. And I think, well, what's the first thing I think about? I wonder, which chords do I have? Well, Bury Me Beneath the Willow, in its most basic form, has 3 chords, the major chords that you would expect, a 1 chord, a 4 chord, and a 5 chord. So in the key of C, that's the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord. So I just think about, where can I find those? Well, of course, we have our home base C chord there. And then I can jump up and I could bar at the 5th fret and find another C chord. For my F chord, I can grab what I would call a Y shape here. And then I could also jump up here and grab an X shape. And then for a G chord, I could, of course, play my open strings. And then also play what I would call a Y shape here. And I don't think we're going to need to go up there. But then the next thing I would think about is where's my melody and where's the best place to start finding that. So Bury Me Beneath the Willow. Bury me beneath the willow, under the willow tree. Okay, so I'm going to decide to start that melody right there on this G note, which is also the same as my open G string up here, right? Now, I wouldn't start it an octave lower here because I would run out of notes whenever I went down, bury me beneath, and I can't go any lower than that. So if I start up here, then I know I can grab all of my melody notes in the same octave, which helps. It's not absolutely necessary, but it helps. So now I'm going to think about how do I grab my melody notes with the chords that I have. And our first couple measures here, through measure 3, we're over a C chord. And since our melody is up here, it would make sense to grab that barring the C chord. So I'm going to walk into it starting on the 3rd beat of measure 1, 5, 6, and then I'm going to bar. And I only have to bar the first 2 strings because I'm not going to be playing that 3rd string. So that our melody is there. And then, as we look through the first line of the song, we look at where my main melody notes are. It's bury, so that last note in measure 2 is a melody. And then measure 3, beneath, then we come down to the C note over an F chord for measure 4. So now I'm just thinking about filling in some of the space, and of course a good old forward roll would do that for you. Here in measure 2. Okay, and then in measure 3 we're just going to walk down with quarter notes. And then I'm going to go to a partial F chord in measure 4. Here's my melody note. And the melody goes, beneath the willow. Okay, so I'm going to play that melody note, throw my pinky down on the 3rd fret, get another forward roll, and then walk the melody down measure 5. So let me play measures 1 through 5. We'll play it much slower later on, but this is just to keep it all in context. And I'm going to try to accent the melody notes as I can and try not to play the other notes quite as loud. Now as we go into measure 6, we're going to go to